What's up, people? This is Nate here.
This is Kev.
Two-thirds of the super group that is GamesMusicLyfe. We're back with a review today for this Big Sean highly anticipated project titled I Decided.
Yep.
This is Big Sean's fourth studio album. From the interviews he gave, the album's launch, he admitted that it was a concept album. And I wish I wouldn't have read that because throughout the album, I was looking for the concept. And I heard some of it, and I'll get into it later about it, but I wish I wouldn't have read that. One thing that stood out to me, though, when he said, one of the lines he said, which is on the track 3 of the album, he said, "I decided that counting money never felt as good as counting blessings. I decided for the first time in my life, no second guessing. I decided at this moment, at the time, right now, who is best? I'm the best." And I thought that stood out to me because he felt he was on the verge of being the one, and I think that Big Sean could be, in that top tier of artists, but it's something that keeps him down. And my baby sister hit me up and asked me, like, why doesn't Big Sean get the respect that he deserves? And I think this album kind of points it out, and I'll definitely get into it. But to all Big Sean fans out here, I'm not saying that he's bad. It's a great album. It's not, it's a good album. You'll like it, but it does come with some holes, and I'm gonna point that out to it, though, man.
Yeah.
But going into it, I was definitely anticipating, and I like Big Sean. I think a lot of people like him. He's one of those people who's kind of, you want to root for him to win because you know his story. He talks about it a lot on sometimes, and he does get personal sometimes. He did a little bit on this album, but I find myself, he tries to, and then you kind of you wonder, what are you talking about? But we'll get into that more. All right, man. So track 1, it's an intro. It was a spoken word. It basically was, coming from a man who regretted how he lived his life, it seemed like to me. It was very short. It's only like a minute and so long, but it set the tone for the album, man. What'd you think about it?
Just an intro. I didn't really give it too much credence. He did try to set the tone of the album there, or, kind of reveal what the concept was going to be, or, set you up in a way that he could show you what the concept was going to be, but it wasn't much there.
Right, exactly. That's what I said, too. All right, man. So track 2, Light, featuring Jeremiah. What do you think?
With it, man, I thought this was a nice, really mellow track. It had a real smooth piano and bass duo kind of playing in there. Sean was kicking his flows about coming up and having his voice heard in this game. I thought Jeremiah actually fit the hook on here very well. With it, though, now, this is one of my biggest problems with Big Sean, man. Like, he has a tendency to come with some corny bars.
Yeah.
And, man... just an example of it on this song, man, comes with the line, "Ye found a pro, guess I'm profound." Like, what? Like, I couldn't do nothing but shake my head, but overall, I thought it was a decent track.
Okay. The sample was dope. I like the sample that was used on it. Like you said, Jeremiah fit the sample in the song very well. I felt he shined on the track, man, as far as, just stood out to me. One thing about Sean, he gets in more of like a spoken word versus rapping sometimes, which I get. I like artists to be able to, or rappers I should say, to be able to spit different cadences, and it's definitely his cadence has been stolen so much that sometimes I'm listening to him, I feel like he's reciting some Drake bars when, it's arguable he had it first in the Migos. I mean, everyone's kind of in that same pocket. He spoke on hurdles of life, that delivers, and can't let it take away your quote-unquote light, which was the title of the song. So I like the fact that he talked about the title and tied it into this song. I definitely like that. But just the sample and Jeremiah alone, I rock with it. But, having some struggle bars in it is Sean. That's just him. And I think that's one of the asterisks that actually keep him behind, because if you're going to crack that top tier of your J. Cole's, and I don't even know if J. Cole's in the top, but I would say, Kendrick.
Yeah.
I guess we got to put Drake up there, for popularity. But he's the only one that can get away with those struggle bars, because you got to be able to just stay on point at all times, or just win the popularity contest like Drake did.
Hey.
All right, man. So track 3, Bounce Back. This is Trapper Sean. It was upbeat, bass heavy. I wasn't a real fan of the chorus, but it goes with the beat. It sounds like a Drake delivery, and points. Sean is actually snapping when he's not doing the chorus. When he's not doing the chorus, it actually sounds pretty okay.
Yeah.
But because of the chorus was so lackluster, I just was like, eh.
I feel you on there. Now, for me, Bounce Back, man, this was the first single that he put out, so, I've been hearing it for a while, and I felt like it was actually a really good lead single for this album. Hitmaker and Metro Boomin laced him with a really dark, gritty track. It had some booming bass lines, some really clean drums, and some really airy synths. I mean, these synths were so dreamy, man. It sounded like they could float away at any time, and I felt like Sean was trying to go off on him, man. He was floating right along with the beat, so I thought he held it down there. It was a simple hook, smooth flows. To me, it made this track a winner on this album.
Okay, that's what's up, man. All right, so track 4, No Favors, featuring Eminem. What'd you think?
Man, I really enjoyed the dark, moody production on this track. With it, I thought we got a good energy from Sean, and he did pretty well on both of his verses. But still, Eminem came through, man. He renegaded the beat, just stole the whole track, man.
Yeah.
He was assaulting the beat, man, with multis on top of multis, and. Come on, it's M. It's M. He does things like this.
Right.
Overall, real good track. I actually felt like Sean did pretty well, considering who he was on there with.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I had written down, man, I said Sean is snapping. Maybe because he knew he had to step it up, but he went in. Didn't seem to have a point in the song, but it still was good. Eminem, like you said, he does what he does. Totally spazzed out. Mixed in a little bit of shock rap as usual, but his ability to rhyme words is an elite skill. Good to hear him. I love to hear. I like that he rocks with Detroit. Mm-hmm. I like that Big Sean. He always talks about how proud he is of his city, and M was the same way when he was very active. I like that he can get on, and it seemed like it was effortless, man. Like he was like, okay, y'all get on. I got a couple bars laying around. grabbed a scrap piece of paper, wrote down some stuff, and we just got M again.
Yeah.
All right, man. So track 5, Jumping Out the Window. This track to me it shows his ability to make good hooks. One thing about some artists who can actually do their own hook and then start rapping, I kind of get it'd be a little bit repetitive. I think that's one thing that Sean does well. He can actually make a hook and rap on the same track, and you don't feel like you're tired of his voice. I thought this track was one that I did. It definitely sounded like it was Jhené Aiko-esque. Mm-hmm. So it looks like Wifey helped him out with the chorus on this one. This one, it had more of a spoken word feel for most of the bars. It was a decent track. I prefer when he goes beast mode, like he just raps and rhymes, but have a point to it. But I thought this one was okay. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was okay.
Yeah. Now, with it, I'm going to go ahead and break this song into 2 parts, man, because first, the beat on here, man. I felt like the bass and the keys on this track, they were fighting for attention, but somehow it worked. It worked out well. I thought that the beat was pretty good. Now, Sean, to me on this song, he was kind of at a low point. Like, I'm not a fan of his crooning on this track or, his attempt at crooning on this track. Mm-hmm. And, man, just the corny lines. Once again, man, Sean coming at me with some corny lines. Like, listen to this here. Uh-huh. Remember when you used to come through and hit the Mario Kart, you would always pick the princess and realize that you were the princess. No. No. You walked in with the perm, now your hair look like The Weeknd. No, and no. None of that.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the stuff that you can't gloss over.
Like, I can't accept these bars, man. I can't accept it. I'm not going for it. No.
Yeah.
Cut it out. Get some help.
Right. Definitely, man. That's what I was saying. I think that he gets in his own way on stuff like that, man.
Man.
That was bad.
Yeah.
Anything else on it though?
Nah, man. That was it. Okay. Just nope. Just nope.
Okay. All right. So track 6, Moves. What'd you think?
I thought 808 Mafia really laced this track with some thumping bass while Sean was giving us his best Gentleman Club anthem. With it, this song, it'll make it move, and Sean did a good job with it. I thought it was a dope track. I wish we could have got a full second verse, but that first verse was 32 bars, so I understand. Uh-huh. I just wish that the song may have been a little bit longer, but that was just me being greedy. But overall, it was a good track.
Okay. Trapper Sean, once again, heavy bass, like you said. Sean, he spits okay on this one, man. He's kind of talking his ish, goes in rhyming words, but doesn't really have a theme other than him talking about how he has the quote-unquote moves. And how he is that guy. Yeah. And it's pretty much what he was pointing out. So he was talking this stuff. Pretty much every album has, a couple tracks like this where I get into, I'm the guy. So I accept it. It was okay.
Yeah.
All right, man. So, track 7, Same Time, part 1, featuring 2088. So basically this is him and Jhené Aiko, their group 2088, who I love their project they put out last year. It actually was pretty shocking that it was good because I wasn't really a big Jhené Aiko fan. But it was actually pretty good. So on this one, man, I enjoyed this track. Just like it kind of felt like it was a leftover track on the 2088 album, and it's like they just threw it on this one because it wasn't very long. But I rock with it, man. When Jhené and Sean's voice overlap, it sounds good, man. I like that sound. So for it to be a short track, I thought it was okay. I liked it.
Yeah, man, I'm right there with you, man. They're bringing back those smooth vibes of the 2088 project. If you haven't heard that, I would definitely recommend. If you like this song, go check it out. You'll more likely like that whole project. It was a very short song, which I thought was a great idea, just to kind of be a bit of a palate cleanser from the album. You know, take a step back, get you back with a clear mind, so that way he can finish out the rest of the album. So with it, cool track.
Okay, all right, man. So track 8, "Owe Me."
With it, man, I felt like it was a cool song, but it was a little boring. And again, Sean with more corny lines. It actually, to me, sounded like an old Drake throwaway. So with it, I wasn't impressed on this track.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I can see that. He shines on a hook. I will say again, his voice didn't become repetitive. He did do the hook on this one, and he rhymed, of course. I didn't get tired of his voice. I thought that definitely that's something. I don't know if it's just because he has the way they mix it or how it goes, but I wasn't really tired of his voice on that one. The song itself really just lacks substance, in my opinion. Just talking about how, his opinion what a girl owed him. It wasn't good. It wasn't terrible. Even though I felt it was a good song, it points out why Big Sean really doesn't get the respect he does, man.
Yeah.
This song is a very good indication on why. It's like it's kind of a little bit all over the place, but then it's like he's just rhyming words, and he tries to pull you back in with a theme to the song or to his words. And it's like, yes, rapping does have an elite skill as far as rhyming words together, but paint a picture when you're doing it. And that's what I think why Big Sean's always hitting that roof. And this song is real evident of that, man. It ends with him driving off. It got a little personable. It sounded like he was, sick of the paparazzi, and he jumped in his Lamborghini. I was a little bit fabricated on that, but he jumped in his car and sped away while the paparazzi was asking questions that, a lot of people do ask, like, who are you dating, that type of thing. But he sets himself up for that, man. You're out here with Janae Aiko hugged up, so we know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm tired of that. But that was it, man. I just felt like it was a decent track.
I feel it.
Track 9, "Halfway Off the Balcony." It seems to be coming from a perspective of the intro person. It seems like he's trying to pull that concept back in on this track, questioning life, going over things that he has done in life. I kind of question where this album was going at this point.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I kind of was just like, well, what? Like, and I wish I wouldn't have read that this was quote unquote a concept album by his own definition. But I really wondered what the heck this album was about at this point. It seemed like it was definitely decent music. It wasn't horrible, it wasn't bad, but I wondered, were you trying to pull us back into the concept, and then was the other previous tracks about the concept?
Yeah.
But I just really found myself wondering what the heck this album was about. The track is decent. It ends with his mom calling him, and he denies the call, says he'll call her back, and I thought that was kind of telling. So it was definitely a little bit personable on that aspect. That's probably something he's been battling with. But I thought it was a decent track. It was okay.
Yeah, man. With it, I really enjoyed the production on this track, man. It started off with a really dramatic and just these haunting keys and a horn in there that's just kind of weaving its way through the track, man. I thought it was super dope. Sean came in. I felt like he ripped this track. He was spitting his truth, talking about his life, his relationships, both with different women and also with family and friends, which I like Sean when he's honest like that. And I felt like he also came in and he actually had some good bars. But again, man, Sean, I felt like this was the antithesis of why he may not be as big as he wants to be. I listened to this track, and one line really stuck out to me is when he said, "I kept it 100, never changed, not even for 520s." I was like, okay, that's kind of dope.
Yeah.
And then the very next line, "Smoking 520 like it's 420." No, get that out of here, like dog.
You crossed over and you crossed right back.
You
came right back to the defender.
Man, you just, oh man. And with it, that's his biggest problem. Is a lot of times in his raps, it kind of sounds like some of those bars are just throwaways or just fillers. Where it's like, man, just take an extra second and put something better there, man. And you could be up there. I've heard him come with some really impressive lines.
Yeah, me too.
So I don't know, but it was a cool song overall.
Okay. All right, so track 10, "Voices in My Head" / "Stick to the Plan." What'd you think?
With it, man, I actually really like this track, man. I love the transitions in there. It was just a really gritty, again, just kind of a haunting sound. This whole album, it had a lot of really dark spots. It had a lot of light spots too, but I felt like they were more so in the beginning, and then in the middle of this album, the sound got really dark, which I thought was kind of a great transition for Sean. Overall, I really enjoyed that track.
Okay, just like you said, the transition is how it went. I don't know if you saw how it transitioned back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, like it went to, you know, because the song is like even it's split. It's two different songs in one. It would go to one song and then switch back to the original song. I thought that was very dope. So whoever mixed that was actually pretty, you know, pretty good. I like that a lot. You know, heavy bass. The second half, the stick to the plan part was, you know, it wasn't as good as the original beat in my opinion, but I found it dope. I found that, you know, definitely the flow was once again kind of Drake-ish, and you know, I don't know, it ends with a fast flow, so he kind of switched it up a little bit. And I wonder if he thinks about that, like, I sound like Drake. You know, like, I mean, but technically he's, you know, kind of subliminally been saying in his whole career that Drake kind of stole his flow. But at this point, man, we understand what Drake does.
Drizzy's taking a lot of flows.
Yeah, he's taking
like,
a lot of
he
flows.
gave it back a long time ago.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. All right, man. So track 11, Sunday Morning Jetpack, featuring A Dream. This was probably my favorite track on the album. It seemed to be about his mom and how, you know, she's always been there for him. Also a conversation with God and how he appreciates how his prayers have been answered and how blessed he is. The track ends with him answering the phone of his mom calling him, and you know, just kind of just had that conversation. I know as a son, being you know, growing up, and my mom sometimes would call me, and I'm like, I'll call her back. For, you know, time goes by, so I could relate to it. You know, just calling moms and hearing her voice and just kind of being, you know, just being the son you want to always be.
Right.
And so I thought that this one kind of hit home a little bit for me. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Dreams offering. I like Dream in this pocket. I don't like him making his own albums anymore. Times have passed for Dream making solo joints. But I definitely think he's a good feature on the album. And, you know, I rock with this one.
Yeah, definitely, man. I felt like it was a dope track. I really liked the way that the beat was kind of scaled back. It was a bit bare bones in there, and I was really allowing Sean's words to kind of take center stage on this track. I really enjoyed, you know, his verses, just expressing his gratitude for all the success that he's achieved in this game, and you know, kind of going back and remembering the times and the people that got him here. Again, I feel like when Big Sean tries to go into a more introspective view on his songs, that's where he can really shine, because I mean, dude has a good story to tell. I mean, you know, it's different from anybody else trying to come up in the game, man. You know, running to the radio station, man, trying to get Kanye's demo, or just Kanye just to listen to him for 2 seconds, and then, you know, a year later finally getting put on, you know, just working towards his dreams. I feel like that's a story anybody can relate to. And then, you know, also on your path, all the people that meant something to you, all the people who contributed something to your life, and, you know, just being grateful for that. So I thought it was a dope track.
Okay, that's what's up. I definitely married your points on that one too, and also just piggyback on what you were saying as well, was just being from Detroit. That had to be hard, man.
Yeah,
Detroit's,
no doubt.
You know, it's pretty much you know, Star Wars at this point, man. It's nothing there, so dope. All right, so track 12, Inspire Me. What you think?
With it, man, I thought this was going to be Big Sean's version of Hey Mama.
Yeah, exactly.
With it, you know, just giving all praise to his mother on this track, you know, for guiding him through life and continuing to impart wisdom on him. Again, get a little bit of an introspective Sean, get a peek into his life, and I thought it was cool, man. You know, anytime you pay homage to your parents or to your mother or whatever, man, and it comes off sincere, it usually comes out pretty good. And on this track, I thought it did.
Definitely. Okay. I mean, great point as far as Dear Mama, because that's when I heard this, I thought about Kanye.
Yeah.
You know, and I think definitely did that. I mean, he talks about how his mom inspires him, and, you know, he pulled off the hook once again. What I thought was very dope, man. He talked about from the sacrifices she made for him to how he can now return the love and take care of her, to how busy he is, and even though he can take care of her financially, he isn't around as much as he should be.
Yeah.
You know, so I definitely could. You know, it's like he kind of painted a good picture of that one, and kind of just talked to her, man. I'm sure if his mom heard the track, once she heard it, I'm sure she was happy, had a smile on her face, because it definitely bodes to, my man loves his mama, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's pretty much it. I mean, that's pretty much it, man. I can see this song being played on Mother's Day or whatever. So I rock with it. All right, man. So track 13, Sacrifices, featuring Amigos. Very dope beat. Metro Boomin did his thing once again on this one, man. The Migos actually gave a pretty good offering on this one.
Yeah.
You know, Sean kind of started off with his flow being Migo-ish, and then ended it being, you know, regular, not the Migo flow, but just his own. But the beat kind of followed each, you know, the Migos and Sean, so definitely fit more the Migos sound because it was trying to trappy, but, you know, he got Metro Boomin, which is definitely a good one for that one, because that's the Migos kind of know that production. But, you know, it was a Migos and Sean track, man. I don't really know. It's one of those tracks you haven't heard it, but you heard it.
I feel you. I feel you. Now, one thing, I'll break away for a little second, man, but man, Metro Boomin been on fire.
Yes.
My God, this guy been on fire for like a year and a half, 2 years at this point.
Yes.
Like he's a go-to guy as far as production. I mean, this track, man, he laced Sean. He gave Sean Dawn a big one on this one.
Yeah.
Once again, he came through, man. It was a booming beat. Man, it had some infectious keys. It's like as soon as you hear them, man, they just hit you right in the body.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, if you don't feel that, then I don't know what to tell you, because I mean, Metro gave him some heat on here, man. You know, Sean came through, like you said, man. He had that double time flex flow, very reminiscent of the Migos, man. One thing I definitely noticed about Sean is ever since Control, he is like going double time if he got a feature. Like, he's like, never again, man. Because I mean, we completely forgot that was his song after Kendrick, you know, body bagged it. But he's like, yo, never again. I'll never let this happen again. So with it, anytime that it seems like he's getting a feature with somebody who's going to bring something hot, man, it really pushes him to the next level. Like you said, man, I felt like the Migos, or, you know, Offset and Quavo came through with solid features. They didn't outshine Big Sean. You know, I felt like they just complimented him well in the track. Sorry, Takeoff.
Yeah.
I don't know why they keep leaving you out, my man.
They're boxing
you
him
know,
out. I see the shake. They're boxing him out.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing, man. But, you know, sorry about that. But, you know, overall, I felt like this track was well done.
Okay, that's what's up, man. So it ends off with "Bigger Than Me" featuring the Flint Chosen Choir and Starra.
Yeah,
right,
I'm not sure who Starra is, but it's all good, man.
What'd you think?
For this track, man, I loved the really just grand, kind of cinematic vibe that this track gave off, man. I love the backing choir on this track, and I'm imagining that this choir must be from Flint, so I felt like it was amazing that Sean would, you know, give them that look, kind of put them in the limelight, especially putting them on the last track of the album, you know, kind of giving them that chance to close out with everything that was going on in Flint, man. You know, I feel like people need that kind of love, that kind of support, you know, that kind of look, with everything that's going on up there. But with it, man, I really loved the grandiose sound. I felt like this was a great way to close out the album, and, you know, Sean just kind of wrapped up the album and put a bow on it.
That's what's up, man. I mean, bringing in a choir definitely kind of ushers in a cinematic sound, like you said. It's kind of like a grand ending, you know, to it. And definitely him bringing in the Flint choir is not surprising to me, because he's all about his city, man. That's one thing about Big Sean. He's always talked about just being from Flint. He's always proud of where he was from, and I rock with that. And that's why I think Eminem can be from that area as well and say, you know what, I'm gonna be on there too. And I'm surprised Royce didn't give an offer on this one, 'cause I'm sure they kind of go hand in hand. And Royce rocked with him on his Detroit project, which was pretty dope. But I do think for this song, the way it ended was definitely a good way. I still don't see the concept behind it. But he just talked about how proud he was of his city, and I think that's one thing that always eludes from Big Sean, is like, yo, I do this for Detroit. He always talks about that, so it was a good way to end the album. And like you said, tied a nice neat bow. All in all, man, on this album, I'm gonna go and get this out the way, man. Sean, you know, why doesn't he get the respect that he's due? My baby sister asked me this question. I had to think about it, and I really can't pinpoint why he doesn't get it. I do think on the album it kind of points out some of the reasons why he keeps himself a little down, which is, you know, he kind of gets in his own way sometimes with his flow, and it gets a little lazy at times. But that doesn't take from the fact that he can rap when he wants to. He definitely gives a good effort. The fact that, like I said, he does his own hooks is and it doesn't become stale. I think that's a good point. I think it's kind of a gift almost, because some people do their own hooks and rhyme in the same songs, and it feels like, you know, you get tired of hearing their voice. I don't get that way with Big Sean. This project shows my opinion why he doesn't crack the elite tier as an MC, though. To me, he sells himself short by making tracks showing he can rhyme words but not bring the listener into a theme for the track on the album. I read this, was a concept album, but it didn't seem to show that other, than the endings on some of the tracks with his mom, with the missed calls in the beginning track as well. To him eventually picking up the phone and speaking to his mom. If anything, we knew he really appreciates her. The project lacked a direction, but doesn't mean it wasn't a decent offering. I feel that if he went more in depth, down the path and painted a better picture on what he was trying to say, it would have been a better project. But that doesn't mean I didn't like it. It was a good project. I just think he definitely sold himself short. For this to be his fourth album, I would have expected a little bit more growth on this. But I gave it a 75.
Okay, I feel that. For me on this album, like we were talking about earlier, to me, Big Sean is Super Saiyan Wale. I mean, just as far as their subject matter, just the whole way that they go about making music. I mean, they make a lot of songs for the girls a lot of times, and they don't. they tend to shy away from attacking the really, really big issues, or going too big. Like they're trying to make these hit records, rather than letting the hits come to them, or having the game adjust to them.
Gotcha.
And I feel like that kind of puts them in the pocket where they're at. Like I feel like Big Sean is exactly where he needs to be. I mean, he may not get the recognition of a J. Cole, a Kendrick, a Drake, a lot of the big up and comers, but he definitely gets respect in this game.
Yeah, definitely.
And and he has the ability to put out really good songs. Again, man, if he could just give me an album where he, cut those corny bars by like 75%, because it's not that there are a whole lot of bad bars on here. It's just that when he kicks it, it's like, oh man, I forgot I was listening to Big Sean, man. I should have been expecting this. You know what I mean? But overall, man, I actually thought it was a pretty solid project. Definitely worth the listen. If you haven't heard it, check it out. If you're a fan of any of his previous work, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't be a fan of this album. I had to actually give him a little bit of love, and I bumped him up to an 80. I thought that this was a good offering, and especially since he attempted to be a little bit more creative and come with a concept album. The concept is a little loose on here, he kind of ties it all together at the end, or when he's talking to his mom, talking about, he feels like he's lived two lives, and one life he just wasted everything away, and that's what makes him go so hard right now. And, had he not said that, you might not catch that from the verses, because he's a little bit all over the place for this to be a concept album. But, once you hear that and you take in everything that he was saying on this album, it makes a bit more sense. I'm not saying that, it's a concept album on the level of, The Wall or The Cooler or, American Gangster or anything like that, but it's a decent offering.
Okay. That's what's up, man. I definitely, great way to tie it together, man. So anyone who's a Big Sean fan, it wasn't a bad album. It was a good album. You'll like it. Let us know what you think, man. Was it too high? Were we too low? You definitely rock with it. It's a big release. So I'm sure everybody's listening to it.
Absolutely. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, leave in the comments below what you guys think, man. But this is Nate here.
This is Kev.
2/3 of Games Music Life. Thanks for rocking with people. Drink more water.
Peace.
Peace.